Most people think about their garden in two dimensions: flat, horizontal, bound to whatever patch of ground they happen to own or rent. And that thinking is exactly why small garden spaces feel either cramped, cluttered, or somehow deflating, like a good idea that ran out of room before it started. But here's the thing nobody actually tells you. Going vertical isn't just a workaround for small spaces. It's a completely different design philosophy. The moment you stop measuring in square footage and start measuring in cubic footage, you unlock a different category of garden altogether. The ideas on this list aren't just clever hacks for tight patios. Some are pieces of furniture that happen to grow food. Some are living walls that water themselves while you're out of town. One has a hidden compartment nobody walking past your front door will ever find. And the one at the top of this list was engineered deliberately, obsessively, by someone with a plastic engineering degree and a gear motor that rotates the whole tower once every 3 hours, so no side ever gets shaded out. You're not just going to be inspired. You might rethink what the word garden even means to you. Number 10, the freestanding trellis that earns its square footage. A freestanding planter trellis is solving 3 problems at the same time. It grows, it divides space, and it screens. That's 3 jobs from a single structure, which is the mark of any build worth copying. What this format gets right is ambition in plant choice. Put a climber in there, something like a passion flower or a climbing tomato, and within a season, your privacy screen writes itself. The detail most people skip and most people eventually regret is the watering system. Drip irrigation on the backside before the plants go in is always cheaper than trying to retrofit it after the roots have settled. 9. This is just good plumbing. Most people hear NFT hydroponics and mentally check out. Sounds expensive. Sounds like a system that requires maintenance you don't have time for. This one was built from scrap plywood and leftover 2x4s. The principle is straightforward. A 10-gallon reservoir at the base holds nutrient-dense, pH-balanced water. A pump pushes it to the top. Gravity returns it through every planter on the way down, continuously recirculating the same water. No runoff, no soil to replace. The French cleat mounting means every box repositions at any height without tools, so the layout adjusts as your harvest changes. Hydroponics sounds like a system. This one is just a pump, a wall, and an understanding of where water wants to go on its own. 8. The 3-planter rule. There's a version of starting small that feels like settling, and there's a version that feels like a decision. This is the second one. 3 copper finish containers, 1 stained board, 3 succulents chosen for contrast in texture and form, a rosette at the top, something finger-shaped in the middle, something low-spreading at the base. It works because the plants are doing the design work. Succulents need almost no soil depth, almost no water frequency, and they'll look exactly like this 6 months from now because they're practically indestructible. If you've never built a wall-mounted planter before, this is where you start. Not because it's simple, because it's forgiving. You can learn on it without losing anything. 7. The living wall that runs without you. The lush part is a side effect. That cedar box at the bottom isn't decoration, it's a reservoir housing a submersible pump on a smart plug timer, pushing water up through tubing that splits and trickles down through every felt pocket 3 times a week, automatically. The builder set the schedule, left for a full week, and came home to a wall that had completely kept itself. What most people fixate on with a build like this is the visual, the layered ferns, the syngonium spilling forward at different depths. What actually makes it work is quieter. Every plant on this wall shares the same light tolerance and humidity preference. Same conditions, no competition, no casualties. Get the plant compatibility right first. Automate the watering second. The thing that looks impossible to maintain ends up being the lowest effort garden in your home. Number 6, the hanging system that earns its ugly. Hanging containers above ground isn't just a space decision, it's pest control. Slugs, fungus gnats, and most soil-borne problems operate from the ground up. Get the roots into the air, and you've sidestepped an entire category of issues before they start. Take it further with the upside-down method. Thread a tomato root ball through a hole drilled in a bucket base, invert the whole thing, and hang it, and you add better drainage, faster soil warming in spring, and zero slug contact in one move. The plants will droop for 2 solid weeks and look genuinely terrible, like they've reconsidered everything. They're reorienting toward the sun. Stay with it. Where this setup rewards intentionality is in the scale variation. Heavy buckets at the top, smaller pots cascading below on shorter chains. The chain becomes part of the visual rather than an apology for it. Drop a marigold into the top of each bucket, pest deterrent, nothing to remember, and what started as improvised eventually reads as deliberate. Number 5, when the only garden space is above you. Rooftop gardens have constraints, and the constraints are the whole point. You can't dig, you can't install anything permanent. Everything is modular by necessity, which means everything can be repositioned as the season moves. The insight this rooftop layout models well is scattered arrangement over rigid grid. Irregular spacing means you can reach every box without climbing over anything, and you figure out your ideal configuration over the season rather than locking it in on day one. Herbs are the right call here. Fast-growing, shallow-rooted, picked daily. The roof stops being dead space and starts functioning as a kitchen annex. That's not a compromise on having a real garden. That's an upgrade. Number 4, the wall that earns its automation. The detail that separates this from a decorative wall hanging is the automated watering, a submersible pump connected to a smart plug set to run on a timer twice a week, recirculating water from a reservoir at the base back up through tubing to trickle down through every felt pocket. The builder reverse-engineered this after visiting Amazon's greenhouse workspace in Seattle and decided he wanted a version he could actually build. Total cost landed around $850. The grow lights running on a daily timer are the move that changes everything. When light is no longer a constraint, every wall in your home is viable, regardless of which direction the windows face. Number 3, the build that won the negotiation. This one came from a disagreement. One person wanted a raised planter, the other wanted a table that overlooked the garden. The solution was building both into the same structure, a 3.5-meter treated pine planter with a fold-out table surface along the full front edge, hinged and independently foldable in sections. What makes this smarter than it first looks is that the table works section by section, so you only unfold what you actually need. The plant selection for the bed is worth stealing. Herbs and low rosemary, fragrant enough that sitting at the fold-out table on a warm evening is actively better because of what's growing directly below your forearms. 2, the planters with a secret the neighbors won't find. The thing most people will notice is the material contrast, sapele and canary wood, chosen specifically for how differently they read in sunlight. Angled front panels cut for clean, modern lines, house numbers integrated right into the vertical design so the whole facade reads as one intentional piece. The thing most people won't notice is the magnetic panel on the lower box that slides open to reveal a carved compartment holding a spare key. That detail is the whole philosophy in miniature, a planter that does exactly what it looks like it does, plus one thing it absolutely doesn't look like it does. French cleat mounting means the boxes go on and off the wall without tools, whenever you need them to. Lastly, 1, the machine that grows your salad and rotates itself. Whoever built this approached it like an engineer, not a gardener, which is exactly why it's worth the most attention on this list. Hexagonal tower panels instead of round, because hexagons resist heat absorption more efficiently. Individual plant inserts that come out and go straight into the dishwasher. A 12-volt pump running at 5 liters per minute, costing roughly $5 a year in electricity. UV-resistant food-grade plastic throughout. The builder is a plastics engineer and made sure to specify it. And a gear motor that rotates the entire tower one full revolution every 3 hours, so every plant gets equal light exposure regardless of which side faces the sun. Most vertical gardens ask you to manage them. This one manages itself. That's not a small difference. That's a completely different relationship with growing food.